Hello everyone, it's strawberryelli here and thank you so much for joining me in another video. Today I want to share with you my top 5 tips on how to pack more efficiently, because I think when we are traveling, all what we want to do is just minimize the weight we are carrying to have less stress on the body, but also minimize the stress of war, that we feel less overwhelmed, that we have less clutter that we are carrying with us, so that we feel more organized, simple, easygoing, and that we have a really good experience. So without further ado, I'd say let's start off with my first tip. Since I have a really small backpack, I don't have that much space for extra clothes, but I also know that when I'm traveling around, especially being in the airports, it can get really cold and you just want to wear something really comfortable. Then I would suggest that you wear your heaviest and just comfiest clothes while you're traveling, and you pack your lightest clothes. So what that means for me is that every time I travel from one place to the next, I wear my comfy yoga pants. I love traveling in yoga pants. As I said, it's just so comfortable. You're so much more flexible. You can move around and you can just chill in them as well. Evan always likes to wear his sweatpants, and I also have my big sweater here, which I'm always wearing, and also this sweater. So I always layer up so I can just pack up my lightest clothes and I can wear my heaviest so they don't take up much space in my backpack. And also another thing I want to mention in terms of layering up and also just carrying your lightest clothes, it also is important what kind of material these clothes have. So for example, just think ahead when you go somewhere really warm, then I just consider not taking so many like cotton things, because they tend to be really warm and you get really sweaty when you're out in the heat. So I just have really thin clothes with a synthetic material, I believe, and also just normal like exercise clothes that tend to be thinner and breathable, and they're also much easier to pack. They don't take up much space and they're much lighter than really thick clothes with thick materials that you don't end up wearing anyways. My next point is actually really obvious, and I mentioned it in a lot of previous videos before, but don't overpack. Yeah, it is as simple as that. You don't have to take so many extra and different things. A lot of the times we overpack and then we get somewhere and we end up wearing the same things over and over again anyway. So I just take fewer things. That is definitely way easier for my bag. I feel a lot more organized. My life is less cluttered. It's easier to pick something up in the morning to wear, and I just prefer living a more minimalist lifestyle. But putting that aside, in terms of traveling, it just comes really handy if you don't overpack and if you take less. I personally just have most of all just a few tops and one pair of shorts, then one pair of long pants, and maybe one sweater. So you really only need one item from each category and maybe a few more tops. That way you definitely have less that you have to pack up, less to carry around, and less to stress about. Once you have figured out which items you actually want to take with you traveling, you have to figure out a way how to pack them in the most efficient way. Now, what we like to do is to pack them in these packing cubes. And if you're interested in getting some, I'm gonna link you them down below. And they're from Eagle Creek, and we have been using them for quite a while now because we just absolutely love them. We have them in 2 different sizes. I mostly just use this big one because all my clothes, literally all my stuff fits in here. And Evan uses this small one. And the reason why they are so efficient is because you can just stuff all your clothes in them and then you almost like compress them. So your clothes are compressed in here. There's no extra room. All the air is kind of pressed out and it's almost like a compression bag. And that way they take up the least amount of space as possible. And another thing I like to do is whatever category I have, let's say my electronics or my toiletries, they have their own bag as well, so everything is nicely organized. So I store my toiletries in a Ziploc bag, but you can also use this toiletries bag that is also from Eagle Creek, and Evan has been using that and it works great for him. And then I also have my electronics bag because I have just a few extra miscellaneous I don't want to just throw in my backpack. I just like to keep in this bag. So I have my battery charger in here, an extra battery, then just headphones, my charger, an extra pen, and my power bank. And that way everything is just nicely stored. I know where it's at and I can just easily slide that into my bag. So again, as I said, grouping similar items together in one category, putting them in one bag and then storing them in your backpack is a nice way to keep things organized. Nothing clutters up and you know where it's at. You have a way to store it, and it's much easier also to calculate the room you have to store your items in, so you don't overpack and you have everything nicely stored. Now I showed you how to pack up our clothes in different kind of bags, like our packing cubes for example, to have it the most efficient way. But there's also another way to just take up less space and just have your clothes more organized more efficiently, and that is the way you actually just pack them into the cube. So there's two different ways of packing up your clothes, and that is once the rolling method and once the laying method. Now Evan likes to roll up his clothes, and that way they just take up a really small amount of space and you can still wear them once you roll them out. They're not just thrown together in a bowl kind of. But what I like to do is I also just layer them up, and I found that that way they just take up the least amount of space and they're still really organized and nicely stored. But let me know which method you prefer the most and how you like to store your clothes. Just share them down in the comments below. I think we can all learn from each other and find the most efficient way to pack up our clothes. So once everything is packed up, stored in packing cubes, compression bags, Ziploc bags, toiletries bags, electronics bags, or what kind of bags you can possibly have, and you're ready to pack them into your backpack. Now I have this really small Deuter backpack that's 10 liters, and I can almost put all my stuff in here. I have my big packing cube in here. On the bottom I store my camera bag and also my headphones. Then I have a few miscellaneous here, some snacks. Always keep a water bottle with me. My phone, my wallet, my passport is on top here. So what I mean by that is everything has its own place. Everything is nicely stored and I know where it's at. And that way I keep things organized. I know how much space I have, so I can figure out how much I actually can take. Now, as I said, my backpack is really small, so I have to work with the space I have. So keeping it that way, keeping it really simple and keeping everything nicely organized, I just feel less overwhelmed, less stressed, and I just love traveling that way. Now Evan, with his backpack, he has a Tom Bin backpack. It's 19 liters. And I also filmed a video on that, how he packs, so I can link you that down below as well. And everything in his backpack also has its own space. I think we're both kind of nerdy with that. We kind of just, as I mentioned a million times in this video, we like to keep it simple and organized. And that's why I wanted to share that with you in this video, to maybe give you some inspiration for your next trip, for your next travel adventure, how you are able to pack more efficiently so you have less stress, you feel less overwhelmed, and you have a much better experience. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know if you have any more tips on how to pack more easily, more efficiently, then please share them in the comments down below. For more videos about traveling and minimalism and also zero waste, subscribe to my channel so you see more of that content. I hope you have an amazing day and I see you in my next one. Bye guys.